Hello, everyone. It is I, odious dirtbag and de facto leader of the Diagolon, Jeremy McKenzie. I was in court all day and I was already dressed, so don't read into this too much. I've come today to address directly Pierre Poilievre, the Conservative Party, and its supporters. While the previous days have been a source of amusement, bewilderment, and confusion for many, with respect, this undermines the seriousness of the peril our nation has found itself in, yet again, due to the bumbling, inept application of malevolent power from the Prime Minister and his Liberal Party. I've tried very hard to grasp the angles at which the views espoused must be located to come to any kind of conclusion that does not include incompetence, recklessness, or outright malice, but I cannot. First, let me explain Mr. Poilievre's scandalous photo and the Prime Minister's words on this so-called encampment. This protest action was born out of a small orbit of perennial freedom protesters, seemingly quarterbacked by a Mr. Sam Fields. Mr. Fields and I have no relationship, and I have no recollection of any interaction with him. My partner Morgan doodled a Diagolon flag on his trailer door over 2 years ago during the Ottawa protest action, meant as a friendly gesture of support and nothing more. There is no connection between myself, Morgan, or any of the more prominent voices in our makeshift, loose-knit community than that. Any connections being made are tenuous at best and purely coincidental. There is no involvement whatsoever, and I have relayed this to Mr. Fields to immediately remove that drawing from his door, as he does not represent me or our community in any way, and I do not support him. Secondly, if it was not painfully clear to sincerely interested parties after Karim Assad's investigative reporting that can still be observed at hategate.ca, from source documents obtained through Freedom of Information requests, that the RCMP's own conclusions through thorough investigations of myself reveal they were unable to locate any noteworthy criminal or violent activity and could not even define Diagolon as a group in any traditional sense. At its core, it is a tightly knit in-group of like-minded folks that enjoy my podcast and commentary. This government used this fantasy narrative painted by the Canadian Anti-Hate Network to enact the Emergency Measures Act in February of 2022. The Canadian Anti-Hate Network, by the way, has been given nearly $1 million in funding by the same Liberal government. I was compelled to testify under oath to my involvement at the Public Order Emergency Commission from custody, which can still be viewed online at your leisure. Now, I have nothing to hide and have since defeated 4 of the 5 trumped-up politically charged cases against me, something the media has conveniently developed a selective memory of. I am not a criminal. I have never been convicted of any crime and have only ever acted in good faith from my 14 and a half years of frontline military service to present day, tried to do and speak to what I believe is the truth and what is in the best interests of our people. Not everyone agrees, and that's okay. It's their right. One thing, most of all, that I cannot abide by and I cannot allow to transpire without challenge is a lie, which is what this Prime Minister and his team have been perpetuating. This is not the first or likely last time the Conservative Party of Canada will have to suffer the indignity of dealing with this island of misfit toys called Diagolon, and it is very clear to my audience as well as the CPC, I'm sure, and Mr. Poilievre himself, that we are not mutual friends. In fact, there's a very deep and I'm sure mutual disdain for one another. However, my personal feelings and opinions aside, I felt compelled to address this ongoing circus act for the good of those trying to parse fact from fiction. The CPC has no connections or affiliations with myself or anyone involved in my circles. These claims by the Liberals are an outright and deliberately malicious fabrication in a desperate and pathetic attempt to sway support away from the Conservative Party momentum that appears overwhelmingly likely to crush the Liberals in any election held anywhere in this plane of reality. I have been and will continue to be a sharp critic of state power, including Mr. Poilievre and his team. Nevertheless, Canadians deserve to know what is true. Not what is popular, not what is convenient, and it is my sincere hope that somehow Mr. Poilievre and his team will succeed in proving me to be impressively incorrect in my assessment of their character and take the opportunity at hand to capitalize on Canadians' anguished need for positive change and start down a path to returning accountability and consequences to the powerful who would wield their authority over the weak for personal gain, as this government has done for the past 9 years. I will not hold my breath, but I will continue to struggle and fight for Canadians in my own way, while I pray that the assuredly incoming Conservative government will do the same. Thank you. Pro Patria.